and a lot of those people will be in that working age, perhaps under 50, who will also be subject to some waning of immunity from the vaccination, but yet won't be eligible for booster. So those are two things. I know there are many others, but those are two things that I would say are in my top two.
And briefly, so we can bring Nick in, but what do you think about wider use of COVID vaccine passports?
Well, you know, it needs to happen alongside the lateral flow test. I think that really does begin to make sense. I know the primary objective was to increase vaccination uptake, that's important, but increasing it along with lateral flow becomes a much more useful, widespread and acceptable way to be able to limit then the possibility of transmission in high-risk settings.
Nick, what do you feel about tighter restrictions, you know, specifically about the use of COVID vaccines to get into restaurants?
Well, first of all, the last thing our industry needs is another lockdown. That would be catastrophic. So it's in our interest to work to try and make sure that we're part of the solution. And I've been arguing all the way through the pandemic that actually hospitality offers an incredible opportunity to provide safe settings for people to gather. Now, interestingly, I've just come back from a week in Europe. In Germany, for instance, it just seemed very well thought out. You didn't get into an establishment unless you showed your vaccine passport on the pavement. All the guys had readers. But there were lots of glitches and problems.
Nick, do you think we need COVID vaccine passports in Scotland's restaurants, though?
Well, I'm just saying I've seen it working in the rest of Europe, and I don't think it was evenly applied. I think the UK has muddied the waters by having independent nation approaches. So all of this is a background to me saying, whilst I really want to try and help and be part of the solution to the pandemic, I don't actually think that vaccine passports are the most important factor at the moment.
And how is the hospitality industry coping now? Do you feel that do you feel there's light at the end of the tunnel? Do you think things are back to normal now?
No, things are not back to normal. Financially, we're trying to pay back all the loans that we took out just so we're still here. And anything that is an impediment to us being able to trade would put our business in severe jeopardy. So I think you need to think long and hard. And by that, I mean you need to consult our industry and you need to listen to what our industry says.
Gillian, Christmas was effectively